Alright, let's give this a try again. So... Alright, we'll see if it dies again, but the path you want to follow is, again, right along the bottom. This first tree is just jump up and attack so that you take out this guy. There we go. That works too. Jump and attack for that guy. So just all of these are light jumps and attacks, and that'll just get your spin kick. Just as a matter of reference, the spin kick does 2 damage. All of your punches do 1, except for this final kick, which is basically the same as a spin kick, so it does 2. Swingy guy sends his regards. This sounds like a PJ raid. What was your end collection percentage, PJ? 98.26, whatever. Jump there, jump over here, and then this is the new part, so I travel up into the upper area and one more jump, and then the rest you can just let it fall down. So it's just a matter of working your way through all of the different pieces. If you want to try the old route, it's a little different just at that one juncture. The rest is the same. It's just a different point to jump. It's very slightly slower just due to lag, so you let yourself drop here, kick there, one guy right there, and then you're good to finish the rest of the way. But for most points, it's identical. Now we move on to the real first meaty stage to work with. Temple and Furnace is no joke. The way that you handle this initial part is... So the main thing to worry about is these little crocodile dragon things. They have rather large hitboxes, and you want to try and get around them as best as possible. The old way to get through that is to kill off those guys and then just fire a crescent, which will kill them in one hit. Problem is, though, that that small amount of time that you spend sending out the crescent, like, that's loss of forward motion, so it's not going to help you too much. The newer strat, which I like a lot better, damage boost off that guy and then just walk through. This one, you have a little bit of room, so you can just jump right over him and head on in. But that jump can be a little trickier. To help illustrate that, we've got this guy. So, hitbox is turned on, damage boost off this first flame, use the invulnerability to walk right through, and then this is what I was talking about with this guy. You really kind of cut it close in getting around him, but you can do it without too much trouble, and it really helps out in the end, and then you just get through. So the difference between those two strategies is about 1.5 to 2 seconds. It's definitely easier to do the crescents. You don't have to do any positions, and again, the quick turnaround for the damage boost. In this room, there's something similar that happens. What we want to be doing... So, what you actually do in this stage can really depend. LaHulk, who ran this game for a bit too, had a different strategy where you basically short jump and then you do a reverse damage boost on that guy. What I like to do is approach it from the air, but that has a smaller window. Oop. So you hit him from the top and then get over there. Either way, it works out the same. What you want to be doing is just getting through and then enough through the fire that you can jump straight onto it, and that lines up perfectly so you can just continue to move over and jump straight onto it. Again, the old strategy, used to kill off these, launch that. So it's slower, it's a lot more consistent, and you don't have to worry about timing your damage boost through quite as nicely. Because you want to wait until just the very end. And then this is just a little secret path that takes you to the next room. So this is the first instance where you will see zips, and it's going to be kind of tricky to explain how that works. So it's easiest to work with if you're looking at these hitboxes. So let's go find somewhere to have fun with this. So you can see right now my hitbox is completely above ground. It's like 1 pixel below if I'm ducking. But if I duck and then punch, so I am now currently grounded. But if I jump from this position, look what happens to the hitbox. Since it went underground right here, I am technically inside the ground during this 1 frame. And during that 1 frame, well, there's a bit of physics at work here. And the easiest way I can explain this is well, try to describe it in terms of the real world. So let's say that you are pushing against this wall. And I mean you in the real sense. So like you're pushing against it. Your force is going this way, but again, equal and opposite reaction, the force pushing that way to equalize it until you get to a point where it can't, you start pushing through it, which, unless you're the Hulk, isn't going to happen so much. That applies in a lot of video game logic too. So while you're pushing against the wall, it's pushing back on you and preventing forward motion. What happens though when you're inside a wall is that it still has the same interaction, and it thinks that, oh, if he's pushing against this wall, that means that I need to push him in the other direction. The issue is when you're inside the wall, well, there's not really anything for you to push it against. So what it does is you just wind up with, let's say that you are right here, and you're suddenly going to push in this direction. Wow, this is a terrible color. Let's change that real quick. Oh no, it happened again. Let's do green. So let's say you're in the wall here. If you're going to press this direction, the wall is going to push this direction. And it now can't actually calculate very well that you're inside the wall. So the direction, this is basically the entire force that that you have to work with, is just it's pushing you all the way to the right. So in this case, if you press left, you're going to go this way. If you press right, you're going to go this way. That's how zips work in most games. In this one, it's a little different. You can only go left and up. You can very briefly go right, and I'll go into that in just a second. But for right now, let's explore this a little bit more, just in terms of what zipping does. So the first thing to know is that this is the primary setup for a zip. And it's a frame perfect trick, but it's not difficult. Like, don't regard that as something that is all that frightening. So it's simply a matter of you're going to hold down, punch, and you're going to jump after you've got this punch out. Because once you're in the punching animation, it thinks it repositions you right there, and that's going to put you down into the ground. And from there, you just press right for 1 frame, and it pushes you to the left. Similarly, if I was facing this direction and I press down and then press left, it pushes me to the right a little bit. So you can use this to get further inside of walls. So right now I'm going to zip slightly to the left. So now I'm inside the wall. And inside the wall you can do some funny things. The first of which is you can do another frame perfect trick, which is just jumping, and then you wait 1 frame, and then 1 frame after that you do an attack, and that just pushes you straight up. And that's entirely a rhythm thing. So once you're in, you just press your jump and then attack, and you'll go straight up. There's another piece to this though. So if you notice, when I do it backwards like that, I'm still in my standing animation. That's very important. If you do it while facing the wall, you wind up with this instead, which you can see my foot is still in the wall, like it's down underneath, but I'm in a grabbing position along the wall. So, oops, not selected anymore. You can jump and dismount, and you'll automatically be stuck in the wall still. If you happen to, let me see if I can find a good place to show it off. Probably should have done this in the first stage. Don't really have, well, I'll just go back to it later. I'm looking for a right-facing wall. This one's not tall enough. I actually never see this area typically in a speedrun. So, if you want to see something funny, let's say that you're down here and you want to clip onto the wall, so you've got like this. And you've got foot stuck in the wall and you're facing this direction. For whatever reason, if you punch in this position, you're just going to fly to the left, like so. Boop. It's a little more spectacular if I had more ground to work with, but basically you instantly zip to the left for as long as there's ground, and your foot's stuck there. So that's nice. So, how is this useful? There's another use of this that I would not recommend trying right away, because it is quite difficult. In this case, it only saves a second. There's a point later on where it saves much more than that. But basically, so right now I don't have a wall to work with. Most of the time you need some kind of wall to play around with. Right now, I'm right in the middle, but I can still do a very small zip by getting my foot stuck in the wall in this frame. While I'm in the floor, if I use a magic, I will instantly zip to the left. So let's do this. Here's my punch. I'm going to press jump. And then I hit... so this is one frame after I've pressed jump. I'm going to hold on to magic. And now I'm stuck in the ground, but I am invulnerable. Okay, that was one frame too early. 2, and then... Oh, I'm missing a step. Sorry. The missing piece here is hold, jump, and then you hit the direction. In this case it's right, or you can also do left. And then you hit the magic, and that will boost you along the ground for as long as your magic is active. And this is really difficult to do fast. So again, punch. You have a fairly wide margin when to actually do the jump. It's just as long as you get the punch first. Jump, and then as soon as you hit the jump, the very next frame, you need to be hitting right, and you need to be hitting your magic. So, punch, jump, right, and then magic. There you go. I do not recommend trying to learn that. It's only really useful in 2 places in the speedrun, and the most it will save you is like 5 seconds. So don't worry about that. Worry about getting basic zips first. The reasons that it's helpful here is that what you're going to want to do is get over here, and basically this is the normal way to get through here. You want to get stuck in the wall. Once you're stuck in the wall, you want to press jump and then use your magic within 2 frames. You have a 2-frame window that it'll send you straight to the left when you're in this position, and one of those frames will send you straight up instead. But it's just a matter of, again, getting the rhythm right. So right there is set up, and then once you're over here in this position, like, you can notice that you've now swapped sides. That's great. All you have to do, punch and press jump, and you immediately just fly straight up. So, once again, you'd run up straight to this wall, get yourself stuck, or hit, either way. Use your magic and jump. Jump first, magic 2 or 3 frames later, so it's a very easy rhythm, just a matter of whoop, and then punch, and then jump while you're in the middle of punching, you'll fly straight up. Easy peasy. Well, the faster way to do that and let's see if I can actually get it without having to resort to slow-mo, is to do that ground zip. Just timing it is a little tricky. So, again, crouch punch. You need to hit right and then magic on basically the same frames. The other way to do this is to simply hold down and right, and then you hit punch, jump, and do the zip that way. There we go. So instantly, I don't have to get my clip set up in the wall. I'm just all the way over there, and then you can just punch and jump, and you're good. Easy peasy every time. Actually, it's really hard. Don't bother with that so much. So how was it found? This was actually found in some of the earlier TASes. So like this has been known for a while, for a long time. So that's the one frame that sends you straight up. It was actually PJ who first made a video showing that they were relatively easy. He made a video just kind of showing off that you can go through this stage using zips, and they really would help in a speedrun setting. PJ never ran the game himself, but he enjoyed it enough to look into that first thing and basically prove out that, hey, you should be using this, this is possible. So that's really good. Boss time. This boss is a bit tricky. It's all about positioning, and what you want to be waiting for, so first of all, just wade through a cycle. I try to set it up so that my knee is connecting with the green part of the boss's like little handles. So you set up along those, and another good thing about your punches, and you can see this in just a moment. So the giant hitbox that we have, just this white one, that's where your attack hitbox is. Since it hits over your head, both of those little pieces, those attacks that come down, just disappear. Because if you punch any projectiles like that, they usually will disappear, and you actually get a gem for it, but gems don't matter. Anyways, this is my starting position. There's a couple different ways to go about this particular quick kill. I usually wait. There we go. That is one version of the quick kill. And for that one, you do need to, like, so I started right about here. I need to move just about this far forward to make it work. And that is, unfortunately, a little trickier than it should be. Because the way that your momentum works, you're just going to keep moving until you have some time to slow down, even if you jump. But the actual pattern here is... So here's the other thing. If I were to start it back here, where I could hit him, possibly, this crescent, you can't fire another crescent until this one disappears. So the further I am from this wall, the more time that's going to take before that crescent disappears. And that's going to be how long I can take before I fire another one. But if I am too far back... Oops, my mistake. This is basically your optimal position, but this will still drop sometimes depending on how good your mashing is. So I don't recommend that one. If you're having a little bit of trouble with it, you can corner him with 2 punches. And you basically wind up with 1 extra token to use at the very end. If you are a little further away, you're going to drop it, because he's going to have some time when he lands before the next one gets to him. On the other hand, if you're too close, it's a little harder to keep up the rhythm as well as actually positioning yourself so that you don't get hit again. If you're unsure, you wind up over here with one less magic from failing the earlier zips. Then you can do that backup strat where you get just 2 punches in. It's very slightly slower. And technically you can just juggle him forever that way. It relies on really good timing though, because if you drop it for like even a frame or two, you're just going to lose out. But yeah, it's not an easy quick kill despite what it looks like. So even then, like my rhythm was too fast. Oops. But the whole point is just catch him with another hitbox while he's still falling. The cue that I look for is right at this statue's foot. So basically if I'm aligned with the tip of his toes, then it'll work out great, usually. And just don't overdo it because, again, the momentum is pretty sensitive. As fast as you go, it needs to slow down an equal amount. So be very careful about trying to inch forward between your crescents. One last thing, and this is true for every boss. When it ends, so let's do it this way. This one. Nope, that's already too late. So you want to jump towards the center of the screen, and that saves a bunch of time. Here, let me illustrate this a little bit. So take a look right now. My horizontal position is 155. My vertical is 139. Vertical goes down. So vertical is down, goes from 0 to 255. Wow, this is harder to draw than I thought. And then your horizontal position from, again, 0 to 255. Rooms can very definitely be bigger than that. And I'll get to that in just a bit. But basically, one room is always 0 to 255 vertically and horizontally. And your goal is to try and get to 128 of both of those. So right now, I'm 155 and 139. And what's going to happen is that once I'm actually through with the bosses, the game will forcibly move you towards the center. So you move 1 pixel in each direction towards the center per frame. And until both of these values get to 128, you don't start the next sequence. So you can actually lose a fair bit of time by being in the wrong position of a room and causing, well, some issues with that. So you can lose time after a boss depending on where you are. And that's why you always want to jump towards the center of the screen when possible. Okay. I'll bring that up again in a little bit, but first we've got auto-scrollers. There's really not a whole lot to say about this stage. It is an auto-scroller. The main thing that you're trying to do here is minimize lag. There's a lot of different ways you can do that. I just use some cues on when to actually fire, like when I hit certain ledges or when other creatures or cues come up. Like for example, right now, I'm waiting for this diamond to be basically right underneath this cloud, and then you launch out your next fist. and you'll usually hit both of those guys. The elephant guys are the ones that really produce lag and are problematic. The rest, maybe some, but that's basically it. Otherwise, just kind of have fun. You can get through the stage however you'd like. Just in general, be killing enemies every opportunity you get as soon as possible. It's not a lot of loss, but I mean, it's any amount of loss that's unnecessary. You should try to avoid. But that's really all I'm going to dwell on for this one. Tower of Terralisk. This is one of the more technical stages in the game because you have not only a lot of zips, but this is also the first use that you'll have of Comet, which you get to use in basically every other stage after this. So first thing, jump up to that platform and you want to Comet to the left and hold up, and that'll put you in this room. The reason that you need to go in the room is so you can reset the platform positions so you can get up a little faster. There's nothing really to this room. You can just hold left if you want. I prefer to jump as soon as you can, because that way you don't have to wait for the buildup of momentum to go the 1 or 2 pixels. After that, you're on this platform, just jump right away. You're up here and you wait on this guy and jump all the way up at the same. So once again, oops, what am I doing? You just want to jump as soon as you see the spikes poke out, and then when you're up here, you're just waiting until the spikes disappear and you jump up. You can enter doors as long as you are holding up and you've got right next to it. In this room is the first time that you want to use the buffer that I mentioned earlier. So while I'm entering the door, just hold your magic. You'll instantly start in this animation, and as soon as the very first frame that you can move, it will execute. So you're over here, and we've got a vertical room. Hooray! Vertical rooms are our friends for zipping. Unfortunately, this is a sectioned vertical room, so you're not going to have quite an easy time. And again, you can do this whichever way you're more comfortable. If you're facing to the right and you clip in, you're going to get your foot stuck in the ground and you need to jump one more time to be in the wall. If you turn around, you'll instantly be there. So that's why I like to turn around. Either way, you're stuck in the wall, and you've got to jump one frame, and then you press attack, and you will fly straight up. So once in, fly straight up. This is the problem. This block is going to crush you. It will undoubtedly crush you, because it's just going to move all the way here, push you against the spikes. Other problem, note that we are currently inside of the spikes. Minor issue. So what we need to do is actually damage boost to stay inside of the spikes so that we can zip up them, but we need to wait long enough that, so there's another one of these guys further up, not this exact one, but on the next platform, that we need to wait. Actually, no, it is this one. We need to wait for this one to progress far enough that it does not crush us on the way up. So a lot of different things. Here's what happens if you just take it as is. You get crushed by that guy. And you need to wait for him to advance far enough this way that you aren't just instantly killed here. So in this situation, what you want to do first, crouch. So you're holding down. When this guy gets into position, which is right about here, you're going to just hit straight right. And what that's going to do is it's going to damage boost you, but you're still going to be inside the spikes. And from that, you can then zip and go straight up. So right now I'm crouching. I'm safe crouching until I hit right, and then as soon as I hit right, I get hit, but I'm still stuck in the spike wall, and then you can zip up. So when you're in that position, you have 2, maybe 3 shots at getting the zip right. So you gotta really be on point to make it up. The alternative, well, once you're up here, you also still need to be on point and do 1 more zip. So that's 4 zips in order to get through this one, and that is why this is the Tower of Hell. If you want it a little bit easier, you can get yourself stuck here, zip up, and then just hold forward. And then basically you climb the rest of the way up without having to zip. Zipping is still faster, but this can definitely save you some time. I don't know the exact way to get through here, but that is your alternative if you are too scared to go through. Just beware of this guy, because if you're right on the edge of it, it will crush you against that corner. So 1 more time. Zip, zip, crouch, right, zip, zip. Done. At the top, when you enter the next room, buffer another comet, and just hold right and up, and you'll enter the door. Easy peasy. Right and up, and you'll fall right into the door and go from there. This one, you just basically jump on the wall, and then as soon as you can reasonably do so, jump up, trigger a comet, get to the other side. The actual timing on that is not bad. Just if you hit the edge, for example, if you do it a little early, you're still gonna bounce up. It's just still a little bit loss of time. Comet is... The way to think of Comet is that every Comet you use, you save 2 seconds over just walking there normally. This area can cause a lot of problems if you're not used to the momentum. So you basically just follow that route up. And what you want to do by the time you get to that block on the side... Once you're over here, as soon as you trigger this, it'll cause the little blocks to start coming around. You can start and just kind of go work your way up here. The timing is the same. It's just more natural to keep following it in this direction. At this point, when you land, you have to try not to hit directions, because that will give you momentum, and while you're in the air, you have no momentum. It's stored up for when you hit the ground. So as soon as you hit the ground, you'll start to move in that direction. And you just follow those along and head up in here. 1 more zip. This one is also pretty useful. This is the last one of the stage, because there's not much stage left. Crusher wall. You can try to navigate it up yourself, but I advise get yourself stuck here. And this way is, remember, this particular zip that I did it facing the wall, so that I am now grabbing onto the wall, and this lets me do the magic one. So again, it's going to be jump and then magic 2 frames after. I swapped over to crescent in order to do this, and then once you're in there, you just punch and jump, and you'll fly straight up. So 1 more time. Swap, magic, get over here, crouch, get your foot stuck, jump and magic, and then punch and jump, and you'll fly straight up. The boss, however, not so interesting. He can cause some problems sometimes, but he has a fixed number of hits. It's always 7. The thing to do is that he has a certain number of... You just want to avoid hitting his body in most cases. The jump that I just did there is probably the trickiest part of this, and you don't even need to do that. The thing to remember is that touching his body does 2 damage. Getting hit by that little fireball does 1 damage. So if you're ever in a spot where you think it's a little difficult, so these first 2 jumps are pretty trivial. After that, so this is the third one, and this is probably one of the trickiest bits, is just you can head straight over and jump over with the right timing, because at this point you still can't crouch under him, but you can jump over him barely. The thing to remember is that you want to land right about here, and so long as you're there, you have a pretty good shot. If you are too high, you're going to bonk your head on the ceiling. Oh. Like so, and you won't be able to clear him. If you're too low, then you're also not going to be able to clear him. So you just want to really be right about here, and then wait for him to come along, and you can do that. The alternative, just take the hit and go through him. Done. Or if you really want to, you can Comet through, and he doesn't have a hitbox if you're using Comet. It's mostly invincible. And you should have magic to spare at this point, so either way, it's just a matter of how much you want to do. The next thing to know is just your general position. The problem with this boss, just understanding how he works, is that his eyeball actually has a fairly large hitbox. Unfortunately, it's not added to the hitbox viewer, because that would be a pain in the ass. You can always hit him from standing just with a regular punch. It's just a matter of closing the distance enough so that you don't get hit, and he does. So in this case, let's just take a hit real quick. Oop. Okay. And then it's being ready when he starts coming down. I'm already in position, which is right about here. Just wait for him, and then when he gets to the bottom, just punch. What you should really be watching is this red area, because that will tell you how soon it's coming. So you watch it as it moves clockwise, and as it gets to this point, that'll be your indication of when to shoot. So, oh, I guess it's counterclockwise, the other way. Punch, and then from now on, you're safe to go in the corner. The areas that you want to be, so right there, I was about right here or so. This time, you want to be over here, and I use this this little crevice to mark basically where I'm supposed to stand. The last time, you want to go just a half point back, so you want to be about right here, and that'll do it. So if I just stay right here, punch, and I will hit him every time, walk backwards, and then sit right here. This is the second to last hit. Now it's the last. When he hits this wall, he has exactly 3 full turns by the time he gets to the end. So just keeping that in mind, you want to follow him very slowly behind. So he's about to become vulnerable, and I move forward just a bit. So like you can stand right here, no problem, and you jump and hit him for the last one. I move forward so that, again, when I finish the stage, basically I do a jump kick, and I want to end as close to the center as possible. There we go. And basically you just jump up, hit him, done. End of boss. 7 hits every time. There's nothing that does more damage. You wind up with heal. On the world map, there's really not much to do. I basically do a bunch of rapid presses to try and move on as soon as possible, but it's just a matter of frames. When you're talking to the old man, though, first of all, the old man huts work differently than any other place. Normally, like a new stage, you'll enter it automatically as soon as you walk to it. Old man huts, you need to press A or B to enter once you're on top of them. This entire minigame, pointless. You can play around with it and get good at it, but like for accumulating extra lives, you really don't need them in the speedrun. There is one thing to note, and this is just a matter of very fine details. So, Right here, I've basically tried to align myself as close to the center as possible, but there are a couple places where you can go that save just a few frames depending on where you get hit. And what you want to be watching is this little bit of hair and the gem that's coming through. So what the gem is going to do, as it's coming over, I am currently a little lower than I want to be. And because of that, you can see the gem getting closer, but it's going to grow one size. And if it ever basically grows and causes your head to be obscured, even for a frame or two, that means you need to move up a little bit. And again, this is very minor, like it's the difference of just a few frames, and that's just the difference in when you would get hit, because at the very end of this, if you pick it up without it like going in front of your head like that, that means you're in the right position to get hit by these mines, and the lower you are, the quicker you fall off the screen. Mystic Force. You want to mash through that first thing. Pay attention to the Mystic Force, because if you mash too much, and you'll just go right into the story, which can waste a whole lot of time for no reason. But first up, we're going to Petrolith. Petrolith Castle. This starts to be when you need to do some smart management of your magics. And it's always going to start you with the magic that you gained last time. So I should start with heal right now. So that's going to be just hit L once, and you'll swap to Comet again. Jump over this guy. A little bit of a race car maneuver here. You want to jump before you get to the edge of the stage, so you already have enough downward momentum. And if you do it right, you should clear all the way and not interact with that wall. That's just a minor thing, though. Comet once, comet twice. You're going to land on this one, and what you want to do is stay on this ice block because it gives you extra forward momentum. Pause at the end, and then jump up. Do a full jump, not a partial jump. One, two, land, wait, jump on that one. And then something that's a little special about the Comet, if you do it mid-jump, if you are still holding jump at the end, your momentum is preserved. If you're not holding jump, you're just going to fall straight down. So here you actually want to let go of jump while you're in the mid-comet, and it'll drop you off here. Before you enter the next room, though, I said before you enter the next room, you want to swap back to Crescent. And you can only do that after the comet's complete, and that's just another, you press left once. So now I've got Crescent selected. In this room, I'm going to buffer the input. So I've got a Crescent started, and this will prevent me from moving as well as launch out that initial Crescent. And the rest of the time, I'm just holding forward. I don't need to do anything else. This is the very first case of manipulation in terms of trying to get magic, and that will help a huge amount in getting through. This particular manipulation, I really like it just because you get 2 magics out of it. Normally you only get 1. But, so I've buffered the special, hold it forward. When you're on this, though, you just have to jump, because if you keep holding forward, you're going to end up hitting one of those Yetis as I did the first time. But that ice block is what kills these guys, and since you do the same thing every time, they will always drop magic. So that's a full restore of magic right there. From there, just jump on over. This one is a little tricky. You want to avoid each of these Yetis, but still land on the stairway. So the very tip right here, jump up and get the other one. This part I attack to kill this guy just to cut down on lag a little bit. When you land on this platform, stay there for a little bit. So like pause very briefly, because if you just jump right away, you will miss the next platform. Or it'll basically be in a weird spot where it throws you off. So once again, magic, magic. Landed on a weird spot. Jump over. Wait. And the point is to get on this one after it's gone over this little corner circle. And that'll set you up so you can travel mostly along the top and without ever having to see those little lions on the bottom, because those cause a ton of lag. Magic, magic. Jump, jump, jump. That wasn't a full jump at the end there either. It was a half jump. If you do a full jump, you're likely to grab onto the wall, and that's going to cause some problems. The entire way through here is just jumping at the right time. These guys have much bigger hitboxes than they should, so you really want to wait to the edge when you start to fall off. So the good thing about this game is that you do get a little bit of wiggle room. So like if you start to fall off, it will still allow you to jump. But for the most part, I just use like my own body as a visual cue here. So like when I am halfway over, so like right about here, is the key time to jump up. But if you screw up and get hit, or if you overshoot, you can still continue from down here. You just have to get over and zip, and you can zip straight up and continue from where you left off. It's a fair time loss, but if it's the difference of, say, completing a race or not, that can really mean something. But again, we're heading into Crusher Room. I have full magic and full HP. The Crusher Room is problems. What you want to do is get through here in the minimum number of cycles. Each cycle takes like 7 seconds. Unfortunately, these slimes are not very accommodating for that. So just watch for now. This is the way to get through with a minimum amount of cycles, and I'll break it down in just a moment. And you really want to wait on the end there. This will take you into the boss room. Okay, so this part. You're held down, jump up as soon as you can. And you gotta take that guy out. You will always get hit, but that's fine. You want to move back a little bit so you have a little bit of room to work with. Jump over that one, and so long as it's a clean jump, you'll probably make that cycle. And the rest is fairly simple. Just head forward, and don't try and push your luck. Like, trying to get through this area is not worth it. So, the other thing, swap over to Comet, as we will need it on this boss. This boss is pretty trivial. Just jump up and position yourself well for a Comet so you get all 3 of the features on top. Oops. Thanks, we get to do that again. If you're a little bit late, you will get crushed here, but it's somewhat forgiving in that you can go underneath it for a fair bit of time. But yeah, that last stretch is always a trap. Like, you think you can make it, but you definitely can't. Anyways, boss time. Again, very simple. Jump up, Comet. Come on. My computer's still doing the flashing business, and I don't want to have to restart my computer or reinstall XSplit to fix it, so it just makes me lose input on the emulator for a little bit. So there's 2. Comet does 4 damage. Normally Crescent would also do 4 damage, but on this guy it only does 1, so you always want to be using Comet, even though it's slightly more costly. And again, you hold it at the bottom, you wind up getting slightly closer to the center. Unfortunately, it's still a long way to move. So you wait 1 frame per every pixel that you're off. There's not really a better way that you can get around that, though. Next up, we've got the Falls of Torment. Once again, you've got a new power, so it immediately swaps to the new power. You start out the stage just holding forward, and notice that we now have the 4-way shot, which we don't need for this stage. But this is also one of the trickiest stages to do well, because the slimes are ridiculous. I'm going to show you how to do it right, and I'm going to show you why that's the way to do it. So, first things first. Move forward, swap down, comet, small jump, comet, hold jump, and then comet underneath these 2 slimes. Do a reverse damage boost on this guy, and then comet through for the last. So, it looks easy when you're doing it. The problem comes in that, well, you'd actually want to be going higher, and there's a problem with that. So you see that little goop that the slime tosses up? That will do 2 things. First of all, it will break your comet. So you cannot get through that with the comet, and it will hit you. So you need to be moving underneath it every time. And the other thing is that the slimes will toss it up as soon as they are visible on screen, consistently. So that's a problem. And that's why you wait until you just barely fall off, and then you do a small jump so you're still underneath it. So like this is about nay big, and you just want to comet underneath it while you can. During this time, you're holding jump, because that basically keeps it buffered for you. Gets you right through that guy. And the jumping at the end, make sure that you preserve your jump. And then you just wait this out very little. Fall down with a kick. That'll kill him. But even if you've killed the slime, the little attack droplet is still active. So you can't do anything about that yet. So wait for it to disappear. And then you're going to want to do another small jump and go underneath the next couple slimes. Once again. I do a jump so that I am not basically waiting, but this doing it low like that will keep you underneath. Do the reverse damage boost, go through this slime, and then after you pass that slime you can do the last comet whenever. You usually want to do it just a little bit later because it prevents you from having to touch the ground one more time. So that's Falls of Torment. It is a lot more difficult than it seems. Just practice on doing the small jumps into the comet, and you should be fine though. Here, the very first thing to note, you want to jump early so that, again, you get the momentum going down and you spend it in the water going down as long as possible. Something else to note, when you're in the water, you can freely cancel your attack. It works the same way as on land, but you have a 2 damage attack now. And what you want to do is you'll attack, and if you turn around, you instantly cancel the attack. So this comes in handy in a couple different places. But the main way to think about it is basically when you're using it, anytime that you need to attack, you always want to be in a position where you can cancel it back into the direction where you're going. So this switch right here, go past it, turn around, and then cancel it immediately. When you enter this room, you want to be holding left, but don't try and jump, because there is 1 frame where you can jump and it'll screw you all up. You'll fall straight into that magic, and then you can jump off, comet, go down, and enter the next door. For this room, just buffer the input. You can go through. In the next one, you also want to buffer the input. So that's 2 rooms in a row that you buffer a comet. And this one, you want to hold left, because that fish just happens to be in the perfect position to give you magic. Boop. There you go. 4 magic. From here, though, it's a little tricky. You gotta head up. This dragon is a pain in the butt. there's two different ways to deal with the dragon. One is the quick turnaround into another attack like I did there. The other thing is that this attack by itself lasts long enough that you can get both hits on the dragon. So if you do it that way, you don't have any forward progress though, but it's a fair bit safer. Cool. Alright. Next thing, swap over to Crescent, because we're going to need it on this little turtle dude. Head over, launch the turtle, launch the Crescent, and what we needed to do is to both kill the turtle that was here, and then also to flip this switch, because that will allow us to go up, because the switches just swap the direction of these pipe guys, allowing you to actually move up through the rest of the stage. One more here. And this sets you up in a good position. You definitely want that magic. If for whatever reason you have lost a bit of magic, like you messed up one of the prior strats or didn't get the manipulation, a quick way to recover from that is to grab it and then just re-enter real quick and grab it again. Once you're out here, head on over, switch back to Comet. You want to move a little bit, so let me show that off again. What I'm doing as I'm going over here, I'm holding straight right for now. As soon as I get to this neutral area, I start holding up, and I want to go at least a little higher. So this would put me in a good position where I go across and I do not hit that switch. Hitting the switch is problems. And we have another dragon guy, and we deal with this guy much the same way the first one. In this case though, you want to definitely do the full double kick, and the position of it is a little tricky. Head on over. You want to wait for him to get as close as you can without actually hitting you, because otherwise you're not going to get it from that angle. And then you go along the top, use one more comet to get back through, and that'll restore your magic, and then we're on to the boss. For this one, immediately switch over to the four-way shot. And what we've got is a full room of tides. So right now, I'm just holding up and right. Up isn't going to do anything because the water is coming down still. But as I go over, as soon as I can move up, it will let me. And I'm still just holding up and right. And then as soon as I breach this area, I'm just trying to basically stay directly in the middle of these two, and up to the point where my arms are just above basically where their mouths are. So if you watch straight across from here, this is where you want to be, and otherwise just kind of in the middle. So right here, you launch your first four-way shot. And that'll hit both of those, and it will just barely hit those two up there. Move the rest of the way up to the center so that you're right in the middle of all these faces, and launch another one. As soon as you're done launching it though, start a countdown in your head, either in your head or verbally. I actually do a countdown just by words. But you know, do 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000, and then you launch again, and then you'll hit them. So you do that timing from when the prior one actually hits. So when you have those little explosions, that's when you start counting. So 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000, bam. Last thing to note, and this is really important because it saves like a second or more. I'm going to turn back on the position viewer real quick. Something to note about this room. Remember how I said that you always want to be... I count 4, and then you launch the next one. Remember how I said before that you always want to be towards the center of the screen? Well, turns out that where I'm at right now is not the center of the screen. It's actually about as terrible as you can get from the center of the screen. And that's because what you move to is the center of a room. And this room, or this entire screen with the bosses, is actually 4 rooms that are basically 1, 2, 3, 4. So I am actually at the corner of all 4 of those, meaning that it's going to take me the maximum amount of time to get there. So up to 2 seconds to actually move my sprite all the way to the center of one of these screens. And that was a huge deal. Unfortunately, because of the positioning of where I need to be to actually do this effectively, I don't have a whole lot of options in terms of where I can go. But as soon as you launch it off, just start moving up here. I usually go up and to the left, and you notice that I'm at the very least getting closer to 128 and 128, because I'm trying to get to right about here is the corner of this particular room. I'm trying to get as close to that point as I possibly can to remove the number of frames that it takes me. And usually you get a little further than I did now, but it cuts out about a second worth of time that is essentially free. So you notice it's still taking the time to move me straight down to 128, 1 pixel per frame. Yep. So there we go. We are about halfway done with the game now. Rivers of Peril is pretty interesting. I'll get rid of this guy and also nix the numbers. We don't need them right now. So right away, swap over to Comet, and then just to have the best kind of positioning possible, when you get to the end here, do a jump, and before you reach the apex of your jump, hit the magic button to do your magic, but keep holding your jump. And when you do that, you're basically going to still be keeping your momentum, which is important, and then on the way down, do it again. Just make sure that you're low enough so you can actually hit this gator and take him out. The next part, jump down. This is kind of blind. I don't have a cue for this. You can very easily come up with one. I just kind of rely on my own sight for this. But you basically fall down a little bit and then you do another comet. And your whole point is to try and make it between these guys, which is a much narrower field than it should be. But again, gotta stick around now. You take him out, jump up. In this case, you want to jump on the wall immediately, because if you jump straight out, you're going to get hit by the spike guy that appears there. Once you're on top, jump out on from there and do another comet. It's very important that for that part you do a full jump, which I didn't do right there. Hold it. Yep, and then you wind up over here. That should work out pretty much every time, as long as you do a full jump and then wait a little bit undoing it, because you're going to land as that guy is finished spawning. And then once you're over here, you can get your stuff stuck in the wall, do a zip up, and then you're good to go. And here is one of the only luck parts of the run. Basically, you get to this branch point. Where we actually want to go is get over to Kalar, which is the tornado area over there. But first, we're going to make a small detour and visit this guy, because this is another flying auto-scroller, but we have a chance, and by a chance I mean a really small chance, of getting magic. So let's do this. What am I doing here? Let's save real quick. There's only 13 enemies in this entire stage that drop something, so you don't have a whole lot of shots, and because the RNG is frame-based, it just means that you have to happen to kill one of the enemies on the right frame. There's... Yeah, what you're looking for are these magics, and I guess I killed those guys on just the right frame. But they will drop magic for you. Sometimes it's a relatively small chance, in my experience. And again, it just means that you have to happen to kill them on a good frame. The place that I usually try to do this is this turtle right here. So if you're watching the background, I try to be right along this wall. Maybe not up here, but it's not really going to matter so much. And you wait for this turtle to line up with this blue window in the background. And if you do that, you'll have a relatively high chance of getting him to drop magic. But there's a number of frames around that particular time slot where he can drop the big magic, but you still have to basically get lucky and land on one of them. The rest of this is just kind of business as normal. And since I did get the magic, I get to show off the alternative route. The reason that you go there is entirely so you have this very slim chance of getting more magic. And what that lets you do is to bypass this magic, because you just go up and over the top, and then you jump, do a comet, and then jump again and do a comet. If you don't have the magic, you have to basically take a mild detour. So, first things, walk all the way up to this, and then jump, and you'll grab onto it. If you try to, like, jump beforehand, you're probably not going to be able to grab it, and that's just so that you line up easier on grabbing this one and can get up here. With that in mind, though, once you're here, 1, 2, 3, get hit. You want to do a reverse damage boost. And then you get the magic that you would have otherwise gotten there. And you do the same thing. You just comet straight over. It's a little tricky to tell kind of where you are relative to the boundary of, say, these paths. But you have a very small amount of time where, like, the screen will jerk from you starting to fall, where you can still jump. And basically you're waiting for that, or you can come up with a visual cue, basically this whole line here coming with some part of this of your special attack window, and use that to jump up. And the whole point is that you want to jump before you get to the end of the line. And remember, each one of these you want to be holding jump the entire time that you're doing the comet. You get towards the end, jump, and then you do a reverse damage boost off of these cannonballs. You cannot avoid the cannonballs, so just take it in stride. And then 2 more comets, and victory. So that's the optimal way to do that stage. Storm Fortress of Kalar. I'm going to spend a while on this one, so buckle in. So note this one, I'm starting out with 0 magic, so I really need to pick up some more before I can start commenting around. Since I took the alternative route, I have more HP than I normally would. If you come into this stage normally, you'd have 2 bars of health, I believe. So you have to be somewhat careful about getting through. First thing to note, you want to first, after this initial jump here, it'll continually move you up. You want to move to about this point, and then you're actually going to jump backwards to catch this this flow of air. The reason you do that is because you want to spawn these bats. Here's what happens if you just jump straight up. They're all basically covering a complete circle around this magic. If you spend a little bit of time... Computer, why? You spend a little bit of time heading over this way. You'll spawn them, you can head back, and they will all be in perfect position so you can jump straight over them. When you land on the little cloud platform at the end, pause a little bit so you can get back into a position where you can jump again. And then you do a small jump into a comet, and this one, it brings you straight through HP. You want this down current to move you low enough so you can grab this magic. And you want it to put you... Oh, come on. So sometimes when I grab input of the emulator again, it drops my forward. At the end of this, you want to be holding jump. When you land here, you'll basically do an arc, and if you do it right, you should land just under this guy as he moves over you. And it's pretty critical that that happens. Right under him, and I grabbed at the very bottom here. And that's entirely dependent on your positioning when you start the last comet. In general, you want to be as far right as possible before you start the comet, but yeah, just be careful. But so long as you get under this guy, you should be fine. Continue holding forward this entire section. Kill that guy on the way down, but continue holding forward. You don't need to jump at all. You'll land in this wind current, which will take you further over. You don't need to worry about this little guy. You'll go right under him. And as soon as you leave the current, do another comet. If you land in this part, that's fine. It moves you a little bit further faster, but the whole point is to be holding up and get to this door in only 2 comets, and it's entirely doable. So, one more time. What am I doing? There's an old strat that goes up there, but I like this one much better. The comet, there you go. The perfect one is actually to wait a little longer, so that you don't get the down thrust from that one, but you still land on it. Yeah, close enough. This screen, though, is where the problems start. There's a lot of ways to get through here. I'll show you the old way, just for the hell of it. You jump through that current, and then similarly you jump through this one as well. Or in a lot of cases, you just comet. But the timing for that is really precise, because otherwise you'll just fall straight down and die. Yeah, so that's one way. That is actually slower than the current way of doing things. So instead, what we want to focus on, you see this corner right here, just this difference in level is what's really important. If you jump into any air currents, you basically get this large push of momentum upwards. So you're going to walk forward, you're going to go slightly into this one with a jump, and then immediately hold left so that you wind up going back over here, while still keeping as much of this region active as possible. And it looks a little bit like this. So you see how I had that like instant shift up. And that'll put you into this one. Right in the middle of this air current, just do a comet straight over. Oh my gosh. Every time I come back, it forgets my input. ride this all the way to the top. Comet. That was a little far back, unfortunately. And you should fall directly onto that magic. From here, jump up and immediately comet again, twice. Jump up, kill this guy, and we're at the door. And that should be faster than any of the older strats. So let's see it in full real quick. This is the entire stage. Spawn those guys, so you can jump over them with like the smallest of jumps. That time I was a little short, so I did the comet way too early. Spawn them, small jump. Once again, I'm cutting it too close. Like, you really want to get pretty close to the little flying eyeballs. Or those bats. The bats. Yeah, the positioning isn't that bad. I'm just being dumb for right now. But when you get through that, you'll have a lot better shot. There you go, straight under. Keep holding. Kill him. Keep holding. Comet. Once you're over here, jump up. Oop. Jump up. Jump up, I said. What am I doing? And then let it carry you to victory. This boss, I am going to show you the fast way to kill him first, and then I'll show you some easier but slightly slower ways. Immediately, and this is regardless of the strat you use, you want to jump up and hit him as soon as you can. So just jump up and hit the attack button, and you can get a free 2 points of damage. The fast strat, go over here. Up. Hit him, swap over to 4-way shot. Wow, come on, guy. Computer, please. It did a flash right then. Wow, I'm just dropping the last input each time. First hit. There you go. That is the fastest kill that you can get on him. However, that is fairly difficult. I'll explain all the pieces to that later. Here's an alternative. Hit him once, go up here. And that should work most of the time. Once again, get the hit. Swap over to this all the same. When he starts appearing, you basically just crouch and you mash the heck out of attack. The problem is that... hold on one moment. Is that why you're freaking mad at me? It is why you're mad at me. Okay. Well, let me deal with this real quick. Basically, one of my drives ran out of space and I wasn't paying much attention to it, so it got very upset with me. So I've freed up some space real quick so it can at least function. Sorry about that. We should be ready to go again. So let's see here. Hit him. Go up here. As soon as he starts appearing, launch it out. And then 4 consecutive ones will do it. If you take a different path through the earlier place and use one less... Wow, got the burps all of a sudden. If you use one less comet... So I'm just going to do a little bit of hackery real quick. If you come into this room with 4 MP, like such, you have a guaranteed kill on him. Basically do that. And then you just use it again, and no matter where he goes, it will hit him. So that is a guaranteed quick kill if basically you're not having much luck with the fast strat. Now let's talk about the fast strat. First things first, kill him, move over and get 4-way shot all the same, and then you want to move over to about the edge without going off of your little pillar. So just line yourself up pretty close to the edge and then wait. And what you want to do is wait for his image to start appearing. When you see his image, jump up. Let's do that in slow motion. Jump up. At about his knee, you want to launch. And there's a very critical thing here that makes this strategy work at all. After you've got it, there's a lot of minor details in this. Jump up, do this. The entire time this is going on, I'm still holding jump so that when it finishes, I will still be moving up, and then you move slightly forward, and then you hold attack button so that you do this spin kick. And that should hit him on the way down. Go underneath him, over here. Let yourself come up. And then you do the final couple hits. And then you jump towards the center, because that's the center of the screen again. Now for the breakdown of why this actually works. Because this is critical to understanding what the heck is going on, so you can try and troubleshoot when you don't have things going right. Alright, so the new interface, the win boss's HP is right here. Since I hit him once, he's down to 20 from normally 22. Horizontal, vertical position, don't really need to care about that for now, but I'll cover it at the end. Wait for him, jump, fire at about the knees. Okay. First thing, he was at 20, he is now at 16. So we just did 4 damage to him with the very first hit of our 4-way shot. Note, however, that we still have all of these other ones going around. So 4-way shot does a special little thing when you connect with hits. So in this case, when it connects, it does another explosion afterwards that has a larger hitbox that you can see. So what happens is that that first initial hit hits him, but his invulnerability time is so low that he turns back while this crescent is still here. And he is now hit by that, and he just took another 4 damage. So let's do that again. First hit, 4 damage. It's still active, so he's going to lose another 4 very soon. Right there. He does his invulnerability animation again. But note, however, that we also have this explosion right here. So this explosion is also active, and it's overlapping his hitbox. And it occurred just 1 or 2 frames after the first one. So this one also hits him and brings him down to 8 HP. So with that one attack, we dropped him 12 HP. And that is the reason that this works. The other reason that this works is that the entire game's RNG is based on frame after you've entered a certain room. The only thing that is different about your strategy here is that he selects his actions based on how many frames since you've entered, but that's delayed by every time that you hit him, which he just pauses and does his invulnerability. So in this case, when he's getting hit by all these, like, it's delaying it, so he always is going to act on the same frame. And there's one more hit, so you want to hit on the way down, and that covers after he's done with the prior 3 invulnerability animations. You go underneath, turn around, and then you want to jump up again. And the whole point here is that he will run into it multiple times, so that you have an active hitbox when he finally gets down at the end. And then you jump into position for the perfect centering and reduce that amount of time. And that's why this strategy is great. The other piece to that, what I was talking about with the RNG, is that he selects his position randomly. So since I'm basically hitting in the same amount of times, he'll always make the same decision when he gets there. So he's always going to go down at you. If he does something different, let's show what happens if you do it a little low, for example. That's a little too low. So he did a different action entirely. He just went down straight instead of coming across first. So that's why there's a key here in making sure you get every hit. If you miss that kick, like if I don't kick him there, he's still going to come down to you, but you still have now 4 hits to take him out. So once again, the full strategy. And then you jump towards the center, and right now I'm at 129 and 112, so I have to be moved 16 pixels. 16 frames lost, but still pretty good. I really like that strat. It is still quite difficult. I would not expect most people to have to deal with that. So again, you can try one of the alternatives, which, if you have 4 magic going in here, there you go. That works every time, no matter what his RNG is. So if you have 4, you can just get this quick kill every time. When he starts to appear, you do 1 4-way shot, crouch, and do the 3-hit combo, and then you immediately do another 4-way shot, and that'll hit him everywhere. If you do not have 4 magic, do it with 1, and then you just hope that you stun lock him, which is somewhat RNG dependent and mashing dependent. And that'll take him out. And there you go. That's Kalar, one of the more interesting stages of the game, leading into one of the most technical stages of the game, and I can get rid of the other notices. This stage has so much going on. Hopefully I'll be able to do it justice as far as just the explanations go, but there are many, many nuanced details in trying to get this right. So first things first, you need to jump onto this platform as soon as possible and ride it down. the important thing is that as it gets to close to the end, you want to gradually move yourself off so you fall off, and then you need to land on this platform at the bottom, so like this. And this guy is still moving forward a little bit, so it'll push you forward a small ways, but here you need to do a very small jump. So you need to hit jump and then immediately comment. So like you shouldn't move more than this far up, otherwise you're going to hit the spikes, and that's just going to be a bad day. So it'll look a little bit like this. During this entire time though, absolutely be holding jump and do another comment. And if you're still holding jump at the end, you're going to finish your jump animation, and you can immediately go over and grab this wall. So once again. Jump up, let it push you forward. It's a very small jump. 1, 2, 2 more comets. At the end of this, I'm still holding jump, so I get a very tiny boost, and I land on this platform, which you want to immediately not fall off. That was my bad. To stop your momentum, you just press down so that you crouch. You jump at the end of that, let it carry you down. So my momentum's still taking me forward here. What I want to do though is land on this. I'm still going to have momentum, so I'm holding down, and this will immediately stop me. Kill that guy, and ideally, the point of all this, I'll shut it up when I next get over there. The point of all this is to control how far the screen goes in advance. So right now, land on this. You use a little bit of its forward momentum to make sure that you get through okay. Do a quick jump. And this should take you forward. I did not make that far enough, did I? Okay, I did. So I'm going to make a state right here. So right now I've got a lot of forward momentum, and remember, momentum is only active on the ground. So it's going to take me over. I'm in the air now, but I want to keep on this left half of this platform so that when I fall onto it, I'm immediately holding down and I crouch. Unless my input gets eaten. So I don't have any more momentum. Stand up, kill this guy. And the whole point of staying back is that this lava monster is going to come up as soon as he's on screen and fire a shot at you. And you want to make sure that he is off screen long enough that his shot is delayed, and you can just jump straight over it and land right on the platform. So that's in fast motion. If you're just going to the front, like, you're not going to make it, and he fires the lava orb too quickly. Yeah, you'll land down here instead. Yeah, so that cuts it a little too close. So that's why I stay on the back half, and then move forward after you kill this guy. And you'll land right there and can continue on without having to pull yourself up. This room. Immediately go up. There's a small issue with this guy. You want to hug into the wall, and then you're going to set up for a zip. Please. And it'll take you straight up there. Otherwise, like, it's pretty difficult to get up there because you bonk your head pretty aggressively. And the other thing is, if you miss like setting up the zip, you're gonna jump and you'll hit straight into that guy. So like if you miss the input. So now I'm up here. I've already got Comet selected. Run over to the edge, Comet. I'm still holding jump at the end. And here we want to do a reverse damage boost right before we hit the spikes. And then use that the rest of the way to go down. And grab that. Okay? Easy peasy, right? Comet, damage boost. Swap down to Crescent. And you want to do this regardless of your strategy in this section, because the next area, the manipulation for it requires Crescent, as well as the fast strat, lava zipping, requires the Crescent. But a couple things to note. You've got 2 MP, you've got 5 HP. If either of those is off, then that will limit your options in terms of which strategy you can use. So I'm going to make a save right here. I'm still invulnerable from that damage boost. Grab the magic, and if you are particularly skillful, you can try to do a ground zip here. Like that. And that saves from having to crouch and just walk through it normally. So that's actually a big time saver if you can do it. You have exactly 1 chance to do it if you want to maintain enough magic. So punch, jump, and yeah, again, this is a ground zip. This is incredibly difficult. I do not recommend trying it. Like, my consistency with ground zips is about 50 to 60%. But if you get it, it's fantastic. If you don't want to try, then don't bother, and just head straight back down. After you grab the magic, I recommend hitting that fireball so it doesn't kill you, or it doesn't hurt you. Head back over, and this is where your strategy can really change. Either way, 2 things to note. Going in with Crescent, going through with enough magic. So I'm going to show you the old strat first, which is a manipulation. And this will manipulate getting a large magic drop so long as you follow it exactly. So let's give this a try. See if I remember it first of all. So first things first, jump over, jump immediately in so you bonk your head on that narrow passage. Then you want to punch, and then you want to fire that Crescent off. So let's do that again. Jump up. You only have a very few... What? Really? Maybe I don't remember the manipulation here. Jump. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's a punch. Yeah, there we go. So, manipulation here. Jump, punch, Crescent, and then you jump the rest of the way. Jump, punch, Crescent. As soon as the Crescent is off screen, swap over to Comet. When you're on that platform, jump up. There you go. Oh, that is the wrong point to Comet. There we go. That's the way to handle it. I'll show it one more time. Jump, punch. I delayed a bit there, so that was why it didn't work. It was too fast. It's fairly precise, but it's not bad with some practice. Kick so you get rid of that guy's projectile, and then just carry on through. You want to wait to use your comet until you're at least on that second set of conveyor ropes. Okay, so that's the old way, and that's probably the more consistent / safe way. Let's show you something that's completely inconsistent. The whole point, and this is really hard to say because you can't actually see yourself while you're down here. There you go. That's the new fast way. Okay, let's break it down. So first off, jump in, you get hit twice while holding down and to the right so that you're close to this wall. After the second hit, what you want to do is you're actually setting up a zip point on this wall. So your foot is actually below the very bottom of the stage. And what that'll look like is just kind of like you're holding the wall, but your foot's underneath. And that gives you the property where if you punch, you immediately fly to the right or left. And the lava, like all the boiling lava, doesn't have a hitbox down low. Like it's only on the top where it's that surface. So if you sink low enough, you won't get hit by lava. And that's true in anywhere with the lava here. So once you're at least at that point, it's just a matter of setting up a blind zip. How does that sound? Hold down to right. Release. It's just hard to set up consistently, and that's why it's such a risk to go for it in a run, but it saves about 1 to 2 seconds over doing it that way. So after you do get it, basically you'll be kind of stuck on the wall. You'll know you get it if you punch and you fly to the left. Punch twice, but wait for the entire first one to finish before doing the second punch. When you get to this point, wait. Let me see if I can illustrate this a little better. Okay. So punch, punch. When you're here, if you punched again, you're going to get hit by Lava Guy. So punch, punch, wait, punch, or not punch. Punch, punch. There we go. Punch, punch, crescent, punch, go. You have to wait. You absolutely have to wait when you get here, or else you'll get annihilated by the lava guy. So if you don't wait, this is what happens. You just get hit on the way through him. The thing about the lava, though, is if you're climbing on it, so long as you are underneath the lava, you basically still have the flag that you're inside the lava. So what you want to do, the other reason to wait, is you want him to direct his fireball at you so he can't hit you while you're over here. When you're actually over here, though, you jump once, and now you're on the wall, and you can crawl straight up without getting hurt by the lava at all. It's pretty neat. Just difficult to actually set up. If you miss it, it's not too terrible, because you can kill yourself and basically try it again, but unless you're pretty familiar with it and you have reasonable consistency with it, I would recommend just doing the old manipulation strat instead, which again is this. Come on. There you go. One way or another. punch, punch, zip, punch, and then you're up. Okay, last room in this stage, and this is another manipulation that we need to get. So, to note, I currently have 3 HP. I've got 5 magic, so I can use at most 1 magic and have enough for the boss, where I want to have full magic. But my HP is more the problem. I actually think I have 1 HP higher than I normally would have at this point. I would normally have 2. And either way, it's a 1-hit kill on the boss if you screw it up. But manipulation for this one, run forward, punch once, get hit by the spikes, go around that guy, and I screwed it up somehow. Jump, punch. Let's try it this way. Jump, punch. Why is this not working? I guess I wasn't hitting it soon enough. But that's the manipulation. Jump once, punch, get hit, go immediately around that, and if you time it right, like, you should be able to jump up straight from the lava and grab that without having to wait. Like that. And you can also make it to this ledge, it's just kind of tricky timing to do so. If you don't get it on the way up, you can always just basically do that small jump and pick it up afterwards. There you go. And now, look at what we got. We are full magic, we've got 2 HP. Touching the boss will kill you. He does 2 HP of damage. If you get hit by his apples, they only do 1, so you're still okay then. Either way, this is dangerous. So now we get to the boss. The thing to understand about this boss, his attack patterns are entirely based on your position relative to him. So this is what I'd call a middle distance. So when he's this far away, he's going to probably bum rush you. Well, let's test that a little bit. So I'm not going to hold any direction. Yeah, he bum rushes. And he'll just do that straight at you. If I'm a little closer, so about this distance, he's going to jump. If I'm any further, he's still going to bum rush, and he will follow you all the way. His last attack, though, is if you're really close to him like this, like basically overlapping his head, he's going to fire these apples. And this is what you want him to do, because that has the least amount of invulnerability frames between when you can actually hit him. So first things first, you've still got Crescent selected from earlier. You want to walk up, and you want to get 2 hits followed by a Crescent. And that does a total of 6 damage. So 1 for each punch, and then 4 for the Crescent. And then he's going to jump, do it again. Now this is the part that matters a lot. He's going to bounce over, he's going to bounce off the wall, and now you've got him in the corner. And from this place, you don't have these platforms screwing you up. They're out of the way, and you can manipulate him so that he does the apples every time. And that is really important, but it's also really dangerous to try and set this up without knowing kind of where where his hitboxes are. So, jump. So I'm a little slow right now, but that's the general gist of it. You have 2 cycles where you want to punch him good and let him do the fly, After that, you want to jump up over his head, but you note, like, it's a really narrow region where you can do that, because, like, he has that entire red hitbox area that if you collide with that, you instantly die, because you only have 2 HP. So you need to keep up a good rhythm. I do a jump so I can control my momentum better. And I have a predictable path. And there we go. So you have exactly enough magic to take him out that way. The last thing to note, though, let's turn positions back on. This is another room that is more than one room large. So, like, you can see right about here is the middle of the room. But there's a whole lot of room this way, too. So it's actually 2 rooms. So one way or another, you want to finish this battle on this side, jumping up to about here. So it's not the center of the room here. This would be awful. That would be terrible. Luckily, this positioning puts you in really good shape to wind up right where you need it. And then I jumped a little late there, but you can get closer than that. I'm about, so the horizontal is the bigger number. I'm about 30 pixels away, so I lose 30 frames, but it's still better than if I was still on the ground. Whew. And with that, we've only got a very small portion of the game left. So here's a note. You can stop here, and if you talk to the old man, he'll give you an extra HP point. You have to sit through and listen to him, but you absolutely do not have to. Like, you can just wander right on by and move on to the forest without getting that. So definitely do that if you're speedrunning, unless you feel like you really need that that extra HP. This stage, once you understand it, is pretty trivial, because it's a very small amount of inputs to actually get right. The only thing to remember is that whereas in every stage prior to this, all you have to do is press L once, and you'll get to Comet. In this case, you're 3 off, and that's to the right. So if you press R 3 times, you'll get to Comet, and that's faster than L, which is 4 in this case. And you want to switch to Comet immediately. So 1, 2, 3, jump, Comet, Comet, jump, and then Comet. And then hold up while you're in that last Comet, and you'll hit the hidden tree one. And then you buffer another Comet while you're there, and the stage will just end. So there you go. Easy peasy every time. Once more for good measure. Then buffer, and there we go. Okay. The Great Tower. This is a stage where you should always remember to buffer out a comet on this first section so that you are going over. But not only that you're buffering a comet, you want to be holding right the entire time as well, because that'll let you grab onto the this wall at the end. If you're not doing that, if you're not holding right, you're just going to fall, because you're like 1 or 2 pixels away from grabbing it. So, as soon as you've grabbed, jump, jump, and then start a comet there, reverse damage boost, Lots more to explain now. Once again, Comet. Okay, so I've killed those guys with 2 kicks as I was jumping over so I can take them out. The thing to look for now is once you're getting right to the edge of this platform, like you're stepping on this block, start another Comet. Maybe a little further than that. Do the reverse damage boost here, and you have just enough time. What you're trying to do here is that you want another damage boost to clip you into the spikes. So I'm holding down and right, and as soon as this happens, like you're going to see your sprite inside the spikes, like that, let go of everything. If you don't let go, it's going to push you back out. So let go, and then when the animation is done, you're clipped inside, and you can zip straight up. So now you need to get a zip before your invulnerability runs out. So jump. Go up here, and then you want to avoid this guy by basically walking to the left, jumping, and then going through the entrance. You have basically 2 tries to get this right. Otherwise you will fail. And every bit of this is necessary to get you through it. So that's the normal way to do it. You have an alternative, and this is the older way that I used to use. So rather than using Comet here, what I did was I'd swap over to Warrior Force, take the damage boost there, Warrior Force here, and then you do a normal zip in. And that way you have a lot more time, because Warrior Force is going to make you invulnerable. And you can just get through much easier that way. So I would recommend starting with that way if you're not familiar, or if your zips aren't as polished. Because you can still basically work that through as well. It's just it does have the extra step of needing to take that damage boost, and then you also need to clip yourself into the wall, which is another thing that you might be having trouble with. Either way though, you get to the next screen. Yeah. I was out of HP because I got hit in the prior stage. Normally that wouldn't kill you, I don't believe. Okay. I don't have a good way to describe how to do this one. It's just a lot of feeling it the right way. This is another Crusher room, and this is a much harder Crusher room because you have to get certain tricks in order to get the minimum number of cycles. The first of which is this guy. That is not a trivial thing. For example, if I just ran up here and started doing that, I'd get crushed. Same thing if I wait too long and go through. You'll get stopped. Otherwise, if the thing starts to move while you're still inside of it, you'll still get crushed. The timing trick that I use for this is, I can't really describe why it works, but you walk, you can see these slightly darker colored bricks. You want to be on right about here, and you want to jump straight up. And then after you bonk your head, just hold forward and up, and it should work every time. And there you go. You absolutely need to get to that crevice by the time the crushers are coming down, or start going up, otherwise you will die. After that, kill the slime, get under this, move all the way to the bottom, and then you want to time your jump so that you slightly get boosted forward there. Afterwards, Comet, and that's the crusher. Let's break it down a little further. So after you get this, I'm now stuck here. And there's actually a fairly small time frame when you can get through and kill that guy with a jump. Either way, you get over here, jump onto the wall, move down as far as you can. This is the important thing, is that after you start moving up, you need to time it right so that you can clear the spikes and you can get over here. This is actually one of the tighter movements, because if you're a little slow, you're going to get crushed by that section. If you're a little fast, you get a little zip there as the corner starts moving down and you get pushed this way. But if you're slow, or if you jump too early, okay, I'm making a bad example by getting it every time. You'll basically get pushed down onto that wall. And it's a kind of a close call. Either way, you want to detach, go up. As soon as you come up over that ridge, comet. And depending on how quick you are, you can just go straight through that. But here's the other part of RNG in this run, and I did not actually get it in my record. But you can kill this slime, the one that I'm killing right now, and he will sometimes drop a full magic. So right now I'm consistently not getting it. Yeah, don't jump too high or that will happen. You'll whiff and then you'll have to worry about getting hit by that projectile. Okay, that's a small magic. There's a lot of frames, so long as you have been consistent in your cycles. There's a lot of frames where this slime will drop a full magic. I'm going to try and get one of those because it's important to show off the strategies in the next room if you get it. There are a bunch of frames for this. I'm just not getting any of them right now, I guess. Well, I'll just hack my way into getting the full one then. But you basically jump up and grab it if you happen to get... Niggy, it's actually not that bad. Like, I'm hitting the save state key is honestly not a big strain for me. But next up is the bowling ball room, and this is the one that I need to show off. If you happen to have full magic, right now I do not, because I did not get the lucky drop. If you happen to have full magic, you can get through and basically skip those guys. I missed the timing a little bit. It's kind of rare that this actually happens, and I really do not have this practiced very well. But that skips both of the bowling balls, which cause a huge amount of lag. And you get by... And just the fact that you get to use Comet saves time by itself. There we go. So the first one is jump as soon as you're past the bowling ball. Second one is while you're under it, and you'll land, and you get to skip both of them. You get to keep the Comet speed, and you get to go from there. Unfortunately, like right now, I don't have that, so the normal way to get through this is just to run. See all the lag that it causes, jump up, For the second one, you want to cling to the wall, not that low. You want to fall back and cling to the wall to jump off. Like that. And then you get over to clear to the other side. The next one is another manipulation. You want to punch twice. 1, 2. Whoop. 1, 2. Note that when I enter that room, I'm holding forward the entire time. Punch as soon as I can. Wait for the entire duration of the punch to expire before you use your second one. So you'll note that you start to move again before you actually get there. So 1, 2, and then you just hang out in the corner. When this guy's about to drop on you, calm it, and there you go. You get a free magic every time. And then it's just a matter of jumping over these guys. After the third one, jump up so that you can go into it as soon as possible. This area, jump down, head slightly to the left, and then after that one spike, that spike, this guy right there, you see him off in the distance, move to where it was, and then just hold up. Or slightly to the right of where it was, I guess. Come on. Yeah, you do want to jump there, just like the smallest... oh wow. No, I did drop a lot of frames apparently. 19,000 it says. Yeah, no, I'm dropping frames. Why am I dropping frames? Okay, real quick, I'm gonna swap servers and we'll see what happens. Because apparently this one's being a little inconsistent. So just a moment, be right back.